Good morning, Sandy here from Talk of Thailand. Another nice morning here in Pattaya. It's a Monday morning, and I think today we're going to have a run out down to a little fishing village further down the coast, about 20 miles down the coast. Bang Saray it's called. It used to be a very small place with a very popular seafood restaurant when I worked out here, but now it's built up considerably because the area has become very popular with expats and other foreigners who have settled down that part away from the city, primarily because the land was a lot cheaper down there to buy land and build a house. So let's go down there and have a look, and I'll finish off my story about the dream job here in Thailand that became a nightmare, and you'll know it all, and you'll be fully up to speed, for those that have been following it, exactly what happened and the lessons that were learned through that terrible time. So if you want to find out how it all ended up, please stay with us, and let's go down to Bang Saray. See you there. So that's us now back on Sukhumvit Road, and we're heading right down to the very end near Satahip, and we've turned right into Bang Saray, which is a little fishing village I was telling you about. We'll go and have a look at the beach down there. Well, here we are. We're down on the beach in Bang Saray. So it's 12:30 just gone, and it's a pleasant day, a bit overcast, not with clouds, with this smoggy type stuff that's been a problem for the last couple of weeks. They say is coming from the farms where they're burning off the waste in the fields to get ready for planting the new crops. So let's get back to the story. When we left it last time, I was in a jail cell in Maptaput, and I just arrived there. And I'd arrived there because a lady had made a complaint that one of the post-dated checks I gave her didn't pass the bank because there was no funds in the account. And she got informed by someone in Bangkok that I had taken all the funds from the company I was working and was trying to escape the country. So she had me arrested, and I got arrested at Bangkok airport on the way out of the country and brought back down to Maptaput, where she identified me, and I subsequently got locked up and spent 4 nights and 5 days in that jail. Now, I've got to say that quite quickly after going into the jail, the jail was full. There was 14 other guys in the cell with me. It's about 5 meters by about 5 meters, I guess, with an open toilet in one corner. I was told there were all sorts of reasons, but there was 2 or 3 guys in there for murder, I'm told. But it was almost like a private club, actually, because it seemed that everybody was quite amenable to each other, and it turned out that most of the inmates in that cell got concerned about me because they saw that I was having severe problems, and I'd stopped eating. I was standing in the cell. There was no room to sit down on the floor. There was people lying all over the floor. There was no room to sit down, and I actually stood for my whole period in there. I get leaning against a wall, and apparently I went into a sort of trauma. That's the best way I could describe it, a trauma. And I wasn't really fully aware all the time of what was going on. My girlfriend at the time, she done very well by me. She stayed at them police cells all the time I was there. Just went back to patio to get washed and changed, etc., and then came straight back to the police cells in Maptaput, and went through various times that she was propositioned by people going in and out the police station for whatever they wanted from her. But she declined those propositions, and she stayed very true to me. And thankfully, she was my lifeline between myself and the outside, because it was she that phoned Australia and spoke to my Australian director and told him what had happened to me, and he said he would try and assist by talking to the Bangkok company, etc. So I have to thank him for that. That certainly started the ball rolling in the right direction. The second thing that happened while I was in there, the big saviour at the time was actually the lady that got me locked up, because she'd been informed by my director company in Bangkok that I had stolen the funds, and after she locked me up, she went to my offices here in Maptaput and started asking the staff how I could possibly have done this and how I got away with it. They should have known what I was doing, because I had a personal assistant there, and I had a accounting staff, etc., that worked with me, and they had all been forbidden to talk to me or to talk about me to anybody, and I wasn't allowed back on site if I ever got out of jail. But this lady managed to coerce her way in and speak with the staff, and it was her that actually found out what had actually happened to all this money that was supposed to be in her account. And she found out that the Thai director in Bangkok had opened another account with a different bank, but with the same name of the company, the same company name. And then he had sent an email to the people in Sudan saying that the company had changed its bank account and all future payments should be made into this new bank with the account with the same name but with a different account number, obviously. And that's what happened, is Sudan paid the money into a different account. So although I saw an email saying that the funds had been deposited in the account, it didn't occur to me to check which account it had been deposited in. I just assumed it would be the legal and official account that we had, but no funds had arrived there. When this lady who had had me charged found out about this, and she went to the police and she told them, and they didn't seem too keen to act on it, and she said that she'd also told them that she wanted to withdraw the charges against me, but they said now the charges had been made, it was not possible, that's what I was told, to withdraw these charges. And the only way the charges could be withdrawn is if the funds were, if the amount owed to this lady was paid, or I was sent to trial for fraud in Chonburi. Now, as it was, the law was that if I stayed in the police custody in these cells for 5 days, in the 5th day I must be removed from there to the main prison in Chonburi, which is quite a bit of distance down the road, but it may have actually been better conditions in there, I don't know. Living in this police cell, they brought in a small amount of rice in the morning with a fish head or a piece of fish, and that was your meal for the day. That's all you got. Pretty horrible. So let's cut this story a bit shorter. I don't want to bore you again. So after 4 days, we got a message from the Australian director that he was transferring the money directly to this lady's account to cover the amount that was owed. And when that arrived, I would be freed. But unfortunately that wasn't going to arrive till the 5th day that I was in police custody, which was a tight run thing that between there and the prison in Chonburi. So I was hoping. The other thing that happened to me is when I moved into this police cell is that they found out my bank account and how much I had in there, and I had to withdraw every single last baht that was in my account and give it to this lady who had me charged on account of what was owed. So that was done, and she had taken all the money from my private account. Anyway, on the 5th day, the funds arrived. Now, we got a message in the morning that the funds had been transferred and successfully transferred, and that the bank would action them when the banks opened at 9 o'clock. Now, when they told me this, that approximately about 11 or 12 o'clock I would be released from police custody, I came out of my trance a bit, and I started to find out what had happened to me in those few days in the jail. And I was in a pretty poor state, actually. My girlfriend at the time, she had my wallet with what money I had in there, and she came up to tell me that the money was on the way, etc. And I said to her, she said, "You've got to have something to eat now and have something to drink, because you haven't eaten anything since you've been in here." I said, "Okay." I said, "Can you buy me some sandwiches and a bottle of water or something, a couple of bottles of water?" And she said, "Okay." And I said, "Listen," because I just heard the story about my fellow prisoners up there trying to get attention from the police, the fact that I was getting severely ill and they were very concerned about me. I said, "Listen, get a big tray of sandwiches and some ice creams, etc., and bring them up here for everybody." And she went and asked the police guard, "Could she do that?" And the policeman said, "Yes, of course," because there was a police guard very close to the cell. He said, in Thai, he said, "Yes, of course you can do that, as long as you don't forget me in the equation. I'd like some sandwiches, ice cream, etc." So that was okay. So then a funny part, in that she said to this policeman, "Can I bring my boyfriend, can I bring him a couple of beers up?" Which this policeman said, in good Thai style, "For fuck's sake, this is a police cell, not a bloody holiday camp. No, you can't bring him beer." So it was a good try, but we didn't get the beer. But consequently, the money was deposited in the bank. I was released, and I was picked up by the lady who had presented the charges. She took us out to a restaurant near where she stayed, and we ordered a big dinner for everybody. There was half a dozen people there, I suppose. We had a Thai dinner, seafood dinner, very nice. I don't remember if I ate anything or not, but it was nice to be free of the police cell anyway. While we were at dinner, this lady, on completion of dinner, this lady paid the bill, and then she gave me the balance of the money that I'd paid her at my account, minus minus the cost of the meal, and she gave me back my money. But then another bombshell hit. She said she had spare accommodation in her house, and she suggested that I go and stay with her for a few days. We go live with her and her husband and stay there, keep out the way. And when I asked why is that, she said, well, she said, you've just been released from jail. You know, I know, and quite a few people know what's going on and why you ended up there. Somebody has been embezzling funds from that company. As you're going to be one of the main witnesses, you are in very big danger, my friend, because the people in Bangkok are mafia, and they won't be wanting any witnesses hanging around to what's going on. Ah, yes, I could see that point. So reluctantly we agreed, and we went and stayed with them. I think we were there about 3 days or 4 days. And then I really wanted to get back to my house in Pattaya, because I wanted to just change all my clothes and put everything behind me and make ready for going back to the UK actually. So we went back to the house in Pattaya, and the threat never left our minds actually, the threat of what might happen. And in bed at night, any motorcycle stopping near the house, and immediately on the floor, up to the window and looking out to see what was going on outside the house. But nothing happened. Rebooked the tickets to come back to UK, and got that all confirmed. Said about tidying up the house. I intended to come back again after a break away from it. We tidied up all the house and got ready to head to UK. Now then, on the final day, we were walking along Beach Road, and I had a lawyer in Soy Post Office, which runs off Beach Road, that helped me purchase the house. Now then, so I decided, well, I'm still pretty pissed off with these people that have had me locked up, etc. So I went and seen this lawyer, and I said, look, I've got all this evidence, because I had copies of most things at my office at home. I said, this is what happened. I explained the story to her. And she was a young lady, about late 20s, early 30s, somewhere around there, I think. And she said to me, she said, well, this guy in Bangkok is guilty of crimes, and he, particularly embezzlement, and also putting you under duress, which is also a criminal, etc. He will go to prison for that. And she said, I will gladly accept your case, and we'll talk about the fees, etc. in due course. She said, in the meantime, leave it with me, and I'm going to make some inquiries about it. I'll talk to the banks and the banks concerned, and I'll get all the evidence together, and I'll be in touch when you come back, and I'll send you an email. I said, thank you very much, and left at that. And the following day, we left and went back to UK. Now, just winding this story up, I think I was in the UK for 3 or 4 weeks, and then I came back to Pattaya. I'd never heard from this lawyer. Got back here, and a friend in Bangkok, that a Thai gentleman I'd had an association with, he was a supplier to the company. He knew I was doing nothing, and he ran an engineering company in Bangkok, and he asked me if I'd work with him for a few weeks. They were designing garbage collection boxes for Singapore, these big dustbins, dumpsters that sit underneath the block of the big tenement blocks in Singapore, and everybody shoot, and they ditch their rubbish down the chute, and they all get caught in this bin. And this bin is designed in such a way that it can be automatically brought out and hitched up to the back of a lorry and emptied. So I actually did that. I worked with him for I think about 2 months, and we built the first 2 prototypes, and they came up from Singapore to inspect them, and they got the contractors to build I don't know, a couple of hundred of these things I think, and he was very happy. And I was still bitter, but okay, I knew I was in danger in Thailand, and fortunately enough My house had already been sold, as I've told you before. I was in this rented house, so it was easy to give up. So we packed everything up, shipped it off to where it could be stored, and I left Thailand. And that was the job and the story finished. I went back to UK. I got employed back there as an engineer with a Danish firm producing robotics for robotic software for shipyards to build ships, and that was an interesting job. And that was me back in the UK, and I went on from there into the oil industry and working offshore and all sorts of things till I finally retired about 6 years ago. So that concludes my story, but it just shows you that if you are going to take a job away from home and make a major move in your life, I did it, and I didn't do all the homework, and it cost me dearly in many ways. But life is good to me now. I've got a lovely family. I've got a beautiful daughter. I'm retired. I'm happy. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm talking to you. So life's good. So thank you for following this story. Let's hope I can now produce some other interesting stories from here in Thailand. Please subscribe and press the like button and the bell if you've enjoyed this. Visit our website. We're going to be putting some Thai products on there that may be of interest to you. My wife's on this keto diet kick, and she's done very well on it actually. And she's now producing snacks for sale in Thailand, and we're contemplating putting them on the website now for sale in Europe or worldwide actually. So that's it. As I say, take care, get the vaccines, and let's get back to some sort of normal life as quickly as we can. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Hi, I just wanted to add another little bit to this video regarding what actually happened after I went back to the UK. They finished the Sudan job, and then the company closed down. I heard from the Australian director that he got nothing back, and he had been robbed by the Thai side of it as well, and he lost over 2 million Australian dollars with the whole deal. Very sad. They closed the factory down, but they took all the intellectual rights, like the drawings, so they could carry on building trailers, etc., under a different disguise somewhere else. When I did go back to Thailand, I contacted the lawyer again in Soi Post Office, and I asked her how things were going, to which she apologised, and she said that she had been to Bangkok and made inquiries in the bank and had confirmed what she'd been told. But unfortunately, she had also been visited at her office by some people who told her that it would be in her best interests not to proceed with her inquiries if she wanted to continue to be a lawyer in Thailand, and a healthy lawyer in Thailand. And she also advised me that I should really, she said, it's up to you, you can get another lawyer, Sandy, and press it on, but I would advise you to be very careful in what you do. These people are dangerous people, and if you're going to stay in Thailand, you do not want to be messing with them. So with that ending, I'll let you know that I tended to move on and forget about it. Nothing's worth dying for. It was a lesson. It was a lesson learned, and that's how it ended up. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.